Before we start, I would just like to say that there's a lot of explicit words, and I tried to cut them out from when they were talking, but I kind of just let it slide for the music. We're all old enough. We're all going into the music industry. Hope you guys understand. Anyways, let's go. Suicide Boys. A rap duo from New Orleans, Louisiana, starting out in 2014, consisting of Ruby the Cherry and Scrim, whose real names are Scott Arsenault and Aristos Patru. Being born only 1 year apart, they've known each other their whole lives because they're cousins. In their kid and teenage years, Ruby would play in numerous bands as a drummer, while Scrim found his love for producing and pumping out mixtapes. In late 2013, Ruby would release their first song featuring Scrim, called Smoke a Sack.
Smoking weed makes you dumb, then why not get some brain when you smoke that blunt? Round it up, fill it up, roll it up, light it up, pass it over here, cause I only hit it once.
And from that point on, they realized that working together would be their best plan for their careers. They decide to make a pact that if they cannot be successful and well off of money by the time they're 30, they'd commit sewer slide.
Pretty much like cut in the hand, bleeding, packed, like, this doesn't happen by the time I'm 30, like I'm
sewer slide.
Because no offense to anybody who works 9 to 5, but I can't spend the rest of my life.
Yeah, no disrespect to anyone, but I know that this is probably the only life that I get, and I'd like to leave my mark.
And that's how their name came to be about. Spoiler alert, they made it. And with this grand idea, they were off to a great start. Their first release will be a 5-part EP called Kill Yourself Part 1.
Figure be a bad motherfucker. Leaving motherfuckers' head stuck under the covers, but I wonder if they know I got a suicide kid. Pray it be a dead wish, razor blades sliding up my wrist,
And this will be a 16-part saga that would end up leading into 2018. In those 4 years, they would release 11 albums, the 16 EPs, and some extra singles along the way. Growing up in New Orleans, they would see a lot of things and pick up a lot of tendencies, leading them to using and selling drugs, which they mention in their music a lot. Their music was never meant to be pretty. They would use their music to shine light on mental health issues, drug abuse, and depression. Their songs were very vulnerable and open to these things, hoping that their fans could find comfort in knowing that they're not alone and that someone out there has it just as bad, if not even worse. Going back to 2016, they would release one of their biggest songs to date, Antarctica. With Scrim producing a lot of their music at the time, he would sample I Remember by Deadmau5.
Hold to the time that you know. You don't have to move on, but let go.
Locked in my room, 4 black walls, tied the noose, no recall, no result, fuck withdraw, rather shoot.
The Suicide Boys, some rap band from Atlanta, literally verbatim took a song of mine and rapped on it and then put it out. Like, didn't sell 1 million copies or whatever, and then they put it out. Now, all we did was send a C&D, which is comment saying,
don't use my
while
phone.
we appreciate your effort,
Yeah.
I would prefer you not to monetize my work and take it off, right? And the internet freaked out.
Another artist who they would fight with a lot would be Juicy J, who is part of 3 6 Mafia. The boys would sample 3 6 Mafia on almost every single song without clearing the sample, just because, quite frankly, and excuse my language, they didn't give a shit.
Time one of their own inside guys sent me a list of maybe 40 songs that they sampled me on with 40 million views here, 50 there. And then on top of that, they bring out a Capitol Records album that's a straight remake of one of my songs off one of my last albums with me in it. Start off with me in it.
Year and a half of not dropping anything except for 2, and in their own words, half decent songs, they would drop their first commercial album, I Want to Die in New Orleans.
impossible noise, yes, I came to destroy. Sold out shows from the globe twice, now I feel like a fucking viceroy.
This was their taste of mainstream fame after the album surpassed any numbers their previous projects have done. Over the next 4 years, they would drop one album each year and go on tour.
When life gets hard, keep on marching on. Even if the finish line is far, or you have to push the car. Keep on marching on.
On the mess, I suck ride a scheme out on the mission. And the further said it, in my hood, I bring the friction. Turkey with the.
In that time, Scrim was able to get sober and now speaks to his fans at the end of every show about his journey to sobriety.
I want to stand here tonight. Seriously, I want to stand here tonight as someone myself just almost 3 years ago, felt like there was no hope and I was at the point to where I was ready to put
Sewer slide.
I want to stand here tonight and I want to stand here with these amazing guys tonight in Ruby and show you that it's never hopeless.
As of right now, the Suicide Boys are still kicking it with 1.5 billion streams on Spotify in 2022. If you couldn't tell by now, I'm a huge fan of them and I personally cannot wait to see what they do next. I was lucky enough to see them in concert the past 2 years and here's some videos I got from it. Enjoy.
Come on.
You from my mother, and one of them blue long chairs next to the ice chest of 2 grand in the block. Now we
Beautiful, thank you guys.